Uh, what's up YouTube? It's Keaton Photography again, here with another retouching tutorial. And yeah, basically I think as for now you at least understand the basic process of retouching. Yeah, and kindly I would request, if you haven't subscribed, please do so. If you haven't shared, please do so. And that's how we help one another to grow. That's the kind of support anyone else needs. So without any further ado, let's start. So basically this is our image, and the only thing that has been done to this image is a bit of a color correction from the camera raw. Yeah, I normally do it from camera raw. Rarely do I use Lightroom. So this is our image, and the very first thing I'd want to do to this image is cropping it to Instagram size. So I'll go to my crop tool here. Yes, and the Instagram size is 4 to 5 or 8 to 10. This is the Instagram size, so this is what you use. Never should you forget that. Yeah, so I'll start by cropping the image to a preferred size. I think that's fine. Yeah, I think that's fine. Then you click this tick sign here, and boom, there's the image. So I think we need to start the retouching process, the frequency separation, that is, to be precise. So like, there's nothing different from the previous tutorials that I've done. There's nothing different from this. Like, it's normal. Like, I just have to repeat the same for you to get it well. So what's the first thing you do? You duplicate your background layer twice by pressing Ctrl J twice if you're using a Windows, but if you're using a Mac, that's Command J twice. Yes, and then we now have layer 1 and layer 1 copy. So layer 1 copy, you double click and rename it texture, or you can rename it texture or high frequency, depending on what you would wish, or depending on how you would wish to rename it. And then layer 1, you double click it and rename it color, because the layer 1 would contain the color and the texture layer would contain the textures of the image. And basically in frequency separation, what you're trying to do is to separate the textures from the color, or the color from the textures. Yeah, so you click on the color, press Ctrl, click on texture, and then you put it in a group. That's Control or Command G, and then double click on group 1 and name it frequency separation. Yes, and there we go. So disable the texture layer by clicking this eye icon here, and then click on the color. So you go to filter, blur, then Gaussian blur. So I know this is where most of you get problems. So this radius should never be fixed, because images vary, pixels from images vary. So depending on the textures of your image, you just need to adjust it until where you see at least. First, you need to click somewhere in your image where it has a lot of textures, and maybe let's click somewhere here. Yes, and then let's reduce the radius. Around 6 is fine. Yeah, 6 is fine, and then click OK. When you're done with that, enable your texture layer, then click to the texture layer, go to image up here, image, and then apply image. I don't want to hurry, like I just want you to understand it so well. Yeah, so source is the original image now, and then layer, you choose the color layer or the lower frequency depending on how you named it. Then channel RGB. Blending should be not multiply but subtract down here. Opacity, leave it at 100. If you're doing this for the very first time, could be your scale could be different and your offset different. So your scale should be 2, your offset should be 128. Then click OK. After you're done with that, go here to these options here, and then go to linear light. Then you're good. So yes, now let me close the group. Then let me now create a black and white layer which will help us while evening out the skin tones. Yeah, so you go to the adjustments down here, click, and then black and white. And then what you do, you just reduce the reds just a bit slowly. This will really help you when evening out your skin tones. I think that's fine. Then close it. Now you open your group again, your frequency separation group, and then go to your color, click on it, and then go pick your mixer brush tool. And your mixer brush tool should always be a clean brush. So you click here and then go to clean brush, then leave this first icon here and then click to the second one, and then wetness should be 9%, load 75%, mix 90%, flow 100. Yeah, those should be the settings you use every time while using the mixer brush tool. Yeah, so I think we're good. So let me zoom the image a bit. That's okay. So let me make the brush a bit bigger. The easiest way to adjust your brush size or the hardness and smoothness of your brush, on your keyboard, click on Alt and then right click on your mouse. Then if you want to make it bigger, move it to the right. If you want to make it smaller, move it to the left. If you want to make it harder, move it down. If you want to make it smoother, move it up. Yeah, so that's how we do it. Yeah, so here we're trying to even out the skin tones. As you can see in this image, the skin tones are not like even, so we want to even them out. So what you do, you make sure you brush your shadows separately, midtones separately, and the highlights separately, like I've always said that, but I'll not get tired to repeat. Yeah, so let's go. And by the way, before I continue, the reason as to why you should keep your mixer brush tool clean, it's because your brush needs to be clean after every stroke. So that's why you should always make it a clean brush. That's the only reason. It's like when, for example, when you maybe you're painting a house or something. So when you put your brush in the paint and then you paint, so maybe you want to use a different paint, what would you do? You would first have to clean your brush and then you continue. That's the exact same thing that happens here. Yeah, so let's continue. The hands now. So let me try and see the before and after. So this is the before, this is the after. The before, the after. So the next thing I'd want us to do is to remove the blemishes. So the blemishes are basically on the texture layer. So removing blemishes entails, or rather blemishes are on the texture. It has nothing to do with the color. So click on the texture layer, and then let me zoom just a bit. Yes, that's fine. And then let me pick my clone stamp tool. Yeah, I think it will work well here. And then what you do, just make your clone stamp tool a bit, at least about the size of the blemish you want to remove. So what you do, click on Alt and then sample on somewhere you'd want to, just somewhere next to the blemish you want to remove. So you click Alt and then left click, then now yes, and you do it continuously until you get done. Just take your time. I know it's tiresome, but take your time. But at least the skin of the model here is not that bad. Yeah, there's nothing much to remove as blemishes here. Maybe let me disable the black and white layer. I think no badly off. I think it's somewhere. I think it's fine. Yeah, I think it's fine. So the next thing you do is get back to the color layer, then go pick your lasso tool. Yes, pick your lasso tool, and then make sure your feather is at least around 20 to 22 pixels. So then come just draw according to the shape of the of wherever you want to, or wherever you're working on. So just carefully. Yes, after you've done that, go to filter, then blur, then Gaussian blur. So if you can remember, the first radius we used was 6, and like I always say, what you need to do, just take the radius you chose first and then multiply it by 3. So for this case it's 6 times 3, which is 18. So yeah, so put it 18. Yes, that's fine. Then we continue to another place. Now you don't have to again go to blur, Gaussian blur. No, the shortcut is here. The shortcut is up here, the first option, or you can click Alt Control plus F. Yes. Yeah, we continue with the same until we are done. Yeah, around the eyes. I think you're done with the face. Now let's get back to these other parts. The hands now. Let me zoom it out. Yeah, I think it's okay. So what I want us to do is I want us to to whiten the eyes, enhance the lips, darken the eyebrows, the eyeshadows pop here and all that. So basically I have my actions like always here. So this is what I basically use for this, because it would be a very long and tiresome process doing it one by one. So that's why I get to use the action. So yeah, just pick. I want to start by whitening the eyes, so you just click on eye whitening here, and then go pick your brush, your normal brush tool. Yes, yes, opacity at 100, that's fine. Then just brush gently. Yes, and there you go. Yes, that's fine. And then go pick, click on the lip enhancer, do the same on the lips. Basically what we're doing here, we're just trying to enhance the makeup. Yeah, go to eyeshadow pop, just brush gently and keenly. Then now let's darken the eyebrows. Yeah, I think we fine until there. Let me remove some blemish here I've seen. I think that's fine. Yes, and now the next thing we're going to do is dodge and burn. So I also have an action for dodge and burn here, but I want to do it like just manually. So what you do, go to your adjustments down here, click and go to curves. Now just raise it just a bit. I think that's fine. Come, name it dodge. And then click to the white icon here, and then click Control or Command I to invert it back to normal. Then go to adjustments again, curves. We're doing the same thing, but now this time round you bring it down, not up again. I think that's fine. Yes, invert it first now. Control or Command I, then double click and name it burn. Then click to your burn or dodge, either of them, and then control, click to the other one, and then Command or Control G to create a group. Then double click, rename it dodge and burn. We are good to go. So in dodging and burning, we're trying to burn the shadows and dodge the highlights. So that's basically what you're going to do. And for you, I think the best thing to do here is just enable your black and white layer. That will help you see where you'll be needed to burn and where you'll be needed to dodge. Yeah, so I think let's start by dodging. So click on your dodging layer here, pick your normal brush, And then the opacity, maybe let's say something like 50%. 50, yes, I normally use 50 most of the time, so you can just do something like 50 or 40 or 30 depending on what works best for you. So we start by burning the highlights, like this one here on the forehead, then this one here on the nose, you make sure you burn each and every highlight you see. The lips here, and the cheekbone, maybe somewhere here on the collarbone, and the chin. Let me see before and after. Before, after, before, after. At least there you can see some adjustment somewhere. So now let's go to burn, and you do the same, but for now you're burning the shadows, not the highlights again. So let's start by here. Before, after, before, after. Now let's disable the black and white layer and see what we have. Yeah, I think I like it that way. Yeah, so this is the before, after, before, after. Yeah, now let me zoom it out, and then I think we now need to do a bit of color grading, and I normally use the selective color. So you go to adjustment, and then the first option here, down here, you pick the selective color. So what you do, so in the colors we have the reds, yellows, and all that. So maybe let's start with the reds. So just make a little adjustments, just a little. Just, yes, and then those are cyans on the reds. So let's go to magenta. Reduce it a bit, yes. The yellows, blacks, yes. Then maybe let's get to the yellow here. Then you do the same, just a little bit of the adjustments here. Maybe let me get back to the rates just a little bit. I think that's fine. So before, after, before, after. I hope you can see the difference. Yeah, I think let me crop it. Let me make an adjustment here just a bit. Yeah, I think, yeah, that was that. And I think we're done. I'm done with this image. So the only remaining thing is saving the image. And yeah, that was it for today. I hope you've learned something. And yeah, so that was that for today. So kindly uh, comment, subscribe, share if you can. Yeah, and let's grow. Kindly don't forget to subscribe if you haven't, and if you have, just share. It won't cost you anything. Yeah, so that was that for today, and I hope you enjoyed. And like I always said, at least make sure you learn something. That's why I always repeat these tutorials more and more times. At least if you didn't get something in the previous one, you at least get something this time round. So that's why I get to repeat them until I make sure you're learning. That's when I'll go to something different. So that was that for today. See you in the next one.